Hi, this is Trish MacGregor with your May 2026 Star Power Forecast. Thank you for joining me. Aries. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio occurs in your 8th house. This moon illuminates areas like credit, insurance, mortgages, royalties, and financial resources you share with another person, a parent, a partner, a child. If you don't like what you see, then add a strategy for correcting things. On the 4th, Mars in your sign squares Jupiter in Cancer. This one looks like trouble of some kind at home, a disagreement or argument about something you're doing or not doing, related to family and your personal environment. Jupiter, meanwhile, continues to expand your options with your family and home until June 29th, when it enters Leo. The 5th brings another square, this one between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. This aspect may result in you not getting paid for a project or for something else you're doing. If you change your network membership fees, the trouble could be connected there. Then finally, on the 10th, there's a positive aspect to celebrate. The Sun in Taurus in your income area sextiles Jupiter in Taurus. Money arrives. Maybe you've rented out a room in your home and the income is from the renter. Or perhaps you have a garage sale and money comes in from that. The 16th brings a new moon in Taurus in your income area. It's conjunct Mercury. New opportunities surface for earning income, and today your communications concern that. You may be seeking clarification about one of these opportunities, nailing down the details. Let your intuition guide you on your selection. The trine on the 26th is between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. Today you're communicating with and about your network of friends and colleagues. Everything unfolds smoothly, almost effortlessly. The 31st brings the second full moon of the month in Sagittarius. With this one, you're able to see, again, what works and doesn't work in particular areas of your life. Sag kind of gives you the big picture. So again, decide what you like, what you don't like, what's working, what isn't working, and create a plan to correct things. Aries. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio occurs in your 8th house. This moon illuminates areas like credit, insurance, mortgages, royalties, and financial resources you share with another person, a parent, a partner, a child. If you don't like what you see, then add a strategy for correcting things. On the 4th, Mars in your sign squares Jupiter in Cancer. This one looks like trouble of some kind at home, a disagreement or argument about something you're doing or not doing, related to family and your personal environment. Jupiter, meanwhile, continues to expand your options with your family and home until June 29th, when it enters Leo. The 5th brings another square, this one between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. This aspect may result in you not getting paid for a project or for something else you're doing. If you change your network membership fees, the trouble could be connected there. Then finally, on the 10th, there's a positive aspect to celebrate. The Sun in Taurus in your income area sextiles Jupiter in Taurus. Money arrives. Maybe you've rented out a room in your home and the income is from the renter. Or perhaps you have a garage sale and money comes in from that. The 16th brings a new moon in Taurus in your income area. It's conjunct Mercury. New opportunities surface for earning income, and today your communications concern that. You may be seeking clarification about one of these opportunities, nailing down the details. Let your intuition guide you on your selection. The trine on the 26th is between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. Today you're communicating with and about your network of friends and colleagues. Everything unfolds smoothly, almost effortlessly. The 31st brings the second full moon of the month in Sagittarius. With this one, you're able to see, again, what works and doesn't work in particular areas of your life. Sag kind of gives you the big picture. So again, decide what you like, what you don't like, what's working, what isn't working, and create a plan to correct things. Gemini. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio illuminates your 6th house of daily work and health. You can clearly see what's functioning and what isn't. You may decide to alter your fitness routine in some way, and also how you progress through a typical day of work. If something isn't working the way you'd like, should now have some good ideas about how to change things. The square on the 4th between Mars and Aries and Jupiter and Cancer is between Mars and Aries and Jupiter and Cancer. This puts your 11th house and second house at odds with each other, something you definitely don't want since the second house is about income. If you charge membership fees for your network, there may be a problem getting paid by somebody. Or if you have a membership in an online site, there could be an issue with it. Wait another day to rectify it. The 5th brings another square when Mercury in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. Lots of talk today about resources you share with others, a partner, a child, a sibling. The communication doesn't go well. Wait until the 10th to settle the issues from today and yesterday. The sextile on the 10th is between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. Something you're doing behind the scenes, a side gig, perhaps, or counseling, should bring in income. Jupiter continues to expand your income until June 29th, when it enters Leo. Today is the day to resolve issues from the 4th and 5th. The new moon in Taurus on May 16th should bring about new opportunities that surface in your 12th house. A new therapist or counselor, a new gig of some kind behind the scenes, a secret lover. No telling the specifics. New moon opportunities often depend on what you're seeking. On the 26th, the sun in your sign Gemini trines Pluto in Aquarius in your 9th house. If you've been considering a foreign trip, buy your tickets today. Or maybe it's law or graduate school you've been considering, or signing up for a workshop on spirituality. Or you may be asked to teach a workshop in your expertise. Whatever its specifics evolve, it's a good day to express gratitude for what your life is. The month ends with a full moon in Sagittarius on the 31st. This moon illuminates your partnerships, both personal and professional. You're able to clearly see which one works and which ones don't, and to act accordingly. If you don't like the dentist you're seeing, for instance, or the therapist or physician, then today is the day to change who you're seeing. Cancer. The full moon in Scorpio on May 1st occurs in your 5th house. This moon illuminates your creativity, kids, romance, what you do for fun and pleasure. You can now see what works in these areas and what doesn't, and you have a better idea of what to correct and how to do that. The squares on the 4th and 5th are irritating. On the 4th, Mars in Aries squares Jupiter in your sign. This one impacts your personal life and your career. Something you say or do personally impacts you professionally. It may be your approach to a professional task that garners criticism from a boss, colleague, or client. However, the specifics unfold. Let things ride until the 10th, when the aspects are friendlier. Jupiter will continue to expand your personal life until June 29th, when it enters Leo. The 5th may feel like a Mercury retro day. Mercury in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. It's possible that someone in your network files a complaint about something you're doing or not doing, and it impacts your finances. Let it slide for today and deal with it on the 10th. The 10th features a sextile between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in your sign, an ideal aspect for resolving the issues from the 4th and 5th. Email, send out a letter, communicate in whatever way is easiest for you, but don't waste time fretting about it. The new moon on the 16th is another positive event. Brings new opportunities for your network or brand, and it's especially good if you're running for office at the national or community level. Make the most of it. The 26th brings a trine between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. This one should bring in income based on whatever you're doing behind the scenes. It may show up as royalties, opportunities in credit, insurance, mortgages, or even an inheritance. The full moon in Sagittarius on the 31st occurs in your 6th house of daily work and the maintenance of your health on a daily basis. In terms of your daily work routine, you can now see what functions well and what doesn't, and correct things that are off kilter. Leo. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio lights up your 4th house, home, family, your personal environment. This moon is emotionally intense, and you're able to see what works and what doesn't and how to make corrections. You may decide to move or refurbish your home in some way, or perhaps you rent out a couple of rooms. Some of this depends on your personal needs and priorities. The square on the 4th is between Mars in Aries and Jupiter in Cancer. It looks as if a gig you have behind the scenes runs into a problem. Someone objects to the way you're expanding and broadening the specifics of this job. Deal with it on the 10th when the aspects are more positive. On the 5th, there's a square between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. This one creates an issue in your professional life. It could be anything: a complaint from a coworker, client, or employer, a change in supervisors, a lack of communication. If possible, wait until the 10th to deal with it. The sextile on the 10th between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer favors solving issues and problems from the 4th and 5th. The Sun is in your career area, urging you to move forward with your professional goals, and Jupiter continues to expand everything you do behind the scenes until June 29th, when it moves into your sign, Leo. The new moon in Taurus on the 16th ushers in new professional opportunities, a new job, raise, a promotion, maybe perhaps even a move if you change jobs. If any of these opportunities arrive via email about job opportunities, do your research to eliminate possible scams. The trine on the 26th between the Sun and Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius indicates that you and your partner, professional or personal, may be implementing something to increase membership in your network or to bring more visibility to your brand. Communication is key. The full moon in fellow fire sign Sagittarius on the 31st falls in your 5th house. Creativity, kids, romance, what you do for fun and pleasure. Today you've got the bigger picture on your creative endeavors and can see what's working and what isn't. The same is true about a romance and your relationship with your kids. Virgo. The full moon in Scorpio on the 1st falls in your 3rd house of communication. Anything you have to say today will be communicated with relentless passion, and whoever you're emailing or talking with will get the point. It may be a sibling or neighbor or even one of your kids' teachers. On the 4th and 5th, you have squares to contend with. On the 4th, Mars in Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer. This one impacts your 8th house and 11th, so there may be a payment issue if you charge membership fee or network membership fees, or there may be an issue with your brand. Wait until the 10th to resolve it. The square on the 5th is between Mercury in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. This one feels like a Mercury retro day, so take nothing for granted. It impacts your 6th and 9th houses, daily work, and your belief system. Wait until the 10th to deal with it. On the 10th, the sextile between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer should be ideal for resolving the issues from the 4th and 5th. Jupiter continues to expand your worldview and you approach your resolutions with that same expansiveness. The new moon on the 16th invites you to head overseas. New opportunities should surface to do that, or to take some other trip that intrigues you. Or you may decide to apply to graduate or law school and start the application process. Focus on what you want, Virgo, and make it happen. The 26th features a trine between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. This one connects your daily work and career areas and facilitates your communication abilities so you can more easily achieve professional goals you set for yourself. The full moon in Sagittarius on the 31st illuminates your 4th house, home, family, your personal environment. You'll be able to see what works in this area and what doesn't, and can now take steps to correct what needs to be fixed. Libra. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio occurs in your 2nd house of income. What's working in terms of your income? What isn't? How can you make more? How can you diversify and invest what you earn? It's easier to answer these questions now. And if one source of money is ending, don't panic. With the new moon in Taurus on the 16th, other new opportunities will surface. On the 4th and 5th, you've got squares to deal with. On the 4th, it's between Mars in Aries and Jupiter in Cancer. Ouch. This one impacts your partnership and career areas. It's possible that a professional colleague or client objects to something you're doing and wants revisions. Rather than dealing with this issue today, wait until the 10th, when the aspects are much friendlier. The square on the 5th is likely to feel like a Mercury retro day. Mercury in Taurus squares Pluto in Aquarius. This one impacts a creative project in which you're involved and impacts your finances. You'll want to resolve it today, but if you wait until the 10th, you'll be able to do so successfully. The sextile on the 10th is friendly to your career and finances. It's between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter continues to expand your professional options until June 29th when it enters Leo. So take advantage of it now by clearing up the issues from the 4th and 5th. It should put money in your pocket. The new moon in Taurus on the 16th ushers in new financial opportunities through insurance, credit, mortgages, royalties, inheritance, and investments. Be sure to check out the opportunities carefully to make sure they aren't scams. Then allow your intuition to select the right one. On the 21st, the trine between the Sun and Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius is ideal for working on creative projects. You communicate well, and your muse is fully present and ready to go. So get going, Libra. The 31st brings the second full moon this month in Sagittarius in your 3rd house. This moon enhances your communication and may prompt you to start a blog or website if you don't already have one, or you may update or enhance what you already have. Also possible, you may decide to write a book. Scorpio. The month begins with a full moon in your sign, Scorpio, and it will probably be intense. Since this moon illuminates your personal life, you should be able to see what's working and what isn't, and may have some ideas about how to fix or change the stuff that doesn't work. But don't attempt it all today. Wait until the aspects are more conducive to success. Look to the 10th for that. The 4th and 5th feature squares, so let's take a closer look. The square on the 4th is between Mars and Aries and Jupiter and Cancer, your 6th and 9th houses. So there's some issue about your daily work routine, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and it really bugs you. On the 5th, the square is between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto and Aquarius. This looks like a disagreement of some kind between you and your partner concerning your home and family life. It could be anything from finances to how your kids are being raised. If possible, wait until the 10th to resolve it. The 10th, it features a sextile between the Sun and Taurus in your partnership area, and Jupiter and Cancer in your 9th house of your worldview and spirituality. It's an ideal day for an honest conversation with your partner about the issues that have surfaced in the relationship. Be calm but honest. The new moon in Taurus on May 16th occurs in your partnership area, so that's where the new opportunities should surface. If you're single, you may meet a romantic interest. If you need an attorney, physician, counselor, or any professional, you meet the right individual. With this new moon, it's a good idea to set your goals, to envision what you want. Law of attraction, you know. Trine on the 26th is between the Sun and Pluto, Sun and Gemini, and Pluto and Aquarius. Something you're involved in at home with your family, your personal environment, may bring in additional income through royalties and inheritance, or with insurance, credit, or mortgages. But all that aside, today should be a positive, uplifting day. The second full moon this month takes place on May 31st in your 2nd house of income. What works? What doesn't? Is a source of income ending? How can you compensate for that? Side gigs? Doing what? These questions will scramble around your head until you find the answers. Sagittarius. On the 1st, the full moon at Scorpio occurs in your 12th house. This one illuminates your unconscious and everything you do behind the scenes. If you've got a side gig of some kind, you can now see clearly if it's working to your benefit or not. If not, figure out how you might change that. The 4th and 5th feature squares, so these 2 days are likely to be irritating. On the 4th, Mars and Aries squares Jupiter and Cancer. Something creative that you're involved in runs into a glitch and you may have trouble getting paid. The issue probably looks worse than it is, but instead of tackling it today, wait until the aspects are friendlier, like on the 10th. The square on the 5th is between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto and Aquarius. There's an issue with your daily work that you're communicating about today. A client, colleague, or employer has a complaint, and depending on what it is, you may want to wait until the 10th to deal with it. The sextile on the 10th is between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer, making today ideal for resolving issues, especially if it concerns getting paid. Jupiter will remain on your financial axis in your 8th house until June 29th when it enters Leo. In Cancer, it continues to expand your financial picture. The new moon on the 16th brings new opportunities in your daily work, possibilities, a raise, promotion, or new job altogether. On the 26th, The aspects are even better. The Sun in Gemini trines Pluto in Aquarius. It looks as if you and a partner, personal or professional, communicate honestly about something that's been on your mind. You're able to understand each other's point of view. The second full moon in the month occurs on the 31st, and it's in your sign, Sag. You can now see what's working well in your personal life and what isn't. You have some ideas about how to bring about change and create a plan for doing so. Capricorn. On the 1st, the full moon in Scorpio occurs in your 9th house. This one may trigger a hunger for overseas travel, in particular to a place that's on your bucket list. Now you're able to assess whether you, 1, can afford it, 2, if you can take the time off work, 3, when it's best to go, and 4, exactly what you'd like to see. Or if you're at an educational juncture, you may decide to apply for graduate or law school. The 4th and 5th feature squares, ugh. On the 4th, it's between Mars and Aries and Jupiter and Cancer. An issue at home within your family may result in a disagreement with your partner. Mars fires you up, but that Jupiter confers a broader view in your partner. Try to resolve on another day. The square on the 5th is between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto and Aquarius. With Mercury and your income area involved, you may want to deal with this one today. A client or perhaps employer wants changes in a creative project, or you may not get paid. However, since miscommunication is likely to be involved, it would be better to deal with the issues from the 4th and 5th on the 10th when aspects are friendlier. On the 10th, the sextile is between the Sun in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. You and a professional or personal partner communicate well about a creative project you're doing. Jupiter will continue to expand your partnership area until June 29th, when it enters Leo. On the 16th, the new moon in Taurus brings new opportunities to express yourself creatively. These opportunities can come from anywhere, online, from friends, colleagues, family, strangers. Just be vigilant for scams. The 26th brings a beautiful trine between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. This one should put money in your pocket, Capricorn, from something you're taking on in your daily work, a new responsibility or project, or perhaps you're changing jobs altogether because the pay is better. The second full moon of the month happens on the 31st. It's in Sagittarius in your 12th house. The moon provides insights into your own unconscious and into anything you're doing behind the scenes. If something is ending, try not to dwell on it in a negative way. It's all part of a natural cycle. Besides, with the closing of one door, another is likely to open. Aquarius. The full moon in Scorpio on the 1st occurs in your career area, your 10th house. If something in this area is reaching completion, it's part of a natural cycle. Part of what this moon does is enable you to see clearly what's working for you professionally and what isn't. You should be able to figure out how to correct what isn't working, and one option is to look for another job in your field. On the 4th and 5th, you have squares to contend with. When Mars and Aries squares Jupiter in Cancer on the 4th, there's miscommunication between you and a colleague, boss, or client. If it's relatively simple, resolve it today. Otherwise, wait until the 10th when the aspects are friendlier. The square on the 5th between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto in your sign is likely to feel like a Mercury retro day. Someone in your family or personal environment may have an issue with something you're doing or not doing in your personal life. Rather than getting into an argument about it, wait until the 10th to resolve it. On the 10th, the Sun in Taurus sextiles Jupiter in Cancer, making it an ideal day to resolve issues from the 4th and the 5th. Jupiter continues to expand your daily work until June 29th, when it enters Leo. Take advantage of this energy. The new moon in Taurus on the 16th ushers in new opportunities for your home and family life. Possibilities: a move to a new home, you and your partner are going to become parents, one of your kids answers a pregnancy, you find the right roommate or renter, an elderly parent moves in or out, one of your kids leaves home for college or grad school. You get the idea. The possibilities are numerous. On the 26th, the trine between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in your sign is a beauty. Use it to dive into any creative project you're involved in and let your muse lead the way. It's also a good day to have fun with your kids or your romantic partner. The 31st brings the second full moon in this month in Sagittarius. This one illuminates your network or brand. You can see what works and what doesn't. If something in this area is drawing to a close, don't freak out about it. Something else will open up. Pisces. The full moon in Scorpio on the 1st occurs in your 9th house. This moon illuminates your spirituality, worldview, and belief system. You can see where and how it works for you and can make adjustments if necessary. The 9th house also rules the courts, attorneys, higher education, so these areas may also be involved somehow. If something is ending, it's part of a natural cycle. The 4th and 5th feature squares. It raises issues that may be best handled on the 10th when aspects are friendlier. On the 4th, Mars in Aries, your income area, squares Jupiter and Cancer, your 5th house. The issue, whatever the specifics are, may impact your income, so take heed. The square on the 5th is between Mercury and Taurus and Pluto and Aquarius, your 3rd and 12th houses. This one is another big ouch. It may feel like a Mercury retrograde. A sibling or neighbor may have a critique about the way you're doing or not doing something in your neighborhood. Maybe it's your dog barking at night or your lights on at night. In other words, a grouchy neighbor. The 10th is the day to resolve stuff. The Sun in Taurus sextiles Jupiter and Cancer. The issues from the 4th and 5th can be settled today. Also, with Jupiter still expanding your creative options, dive into a creative project. The money will arrive. The new moon in Taurus on the 16th brings new opportunities in communication. You start a blog, build a website, decide to write a book. Or maybe you decide to move to a different neighborhood. The specifics can vary, but often depend on what you've been hoping and visualizing for. The trine on the 26th between the Sun in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius is a beauty. This one favors all kinds of communication. If you're working a gig behind the scenes, you're enjoying it and maybe figuring out how to make it permanent. The second full moon of the month falls on the 31st in Sagittarius in your career area. You can now clearly see what's working for you professionally and what isn't. You have some ideas about how to rectify what isn't working and should come up with a plan about how you're going to do that. If something in your professional life is reaching completion, don't fret about it. A new door will open.
Thanks for joining The Mystical Underground. Visit www.themysticalunderground.com for the latest blog post and book info. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Listen to the podcast at podcast.themysticalunderground.com. Follow Trish and Rob on Instagram at Trish and Rob MacGregor. Follow us on Twitter at TheMysticCast. Send email to podcast@themysticalunderground.com. And until next week, thank you for listening and stay mystical.